I was thinking exactly that.
While we're waiting, let's see what is the page. Page 295. So these are Srila prayers aspiring to the dust of Srimad Rupa Goswami's lotus feet.
Srimad Chaitanya Parochara Kamadayugo Netra Bringo Marujo Ureto Payayanto Braja Vipinagato Bhajayukto Sumudko Bhato Sabhatrikasya Sojana Ganapate Yasya Sobhagya Bhumna Sashi Rupa Karamam Nijapara Rajasa Bhushitam Samvidhate. Someone like to read the translation?
Srila Rupa Goswami is the mind of the most precious treasure, the leader of the associates of Lord Chaitanya, the divine succession being known as the Rupanuga Sampradaya, the followers of Sri Rupa. In the company of his brothers, he was resplendent in the province of Gaurai, causing the fervent green bumblebees in the form of the lotus eyes of Sri Chaitanya Dev to drink nectar, as the Lord's lotus feet moved on the pretext of visiting Vrindavan. When will that Srimad Rupa Prabhu grace me with the dust of his holy feet?
So this poem, it moves through the prominent pastimes of Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami together. So this is starting out and framing their first meeting in Ramakeva. Pita Shri Gaurapalam Bhuja Marumadiram Mattari Bringarajo Rajaishwaryam Jahodyo Janani Vaha Ita Datta Chito Nijagyam Vigyapya Swanujena Vrajagamanaраtam Chanvagad Gaura Chandram Sashi Rupa Karamam Nijapara Rajasa Bhushitam Samvidhati.
At Sri Ramakadam, the king of bees, the heart of Sri Rupa became intoxicated, drinking the honey wine of the lotus feet of Sri Gaurachandra, and sacrificed its life in honey kirtan for the benefit of all the people of the world, summarily abandoning a life of kingly opulence. After informing his elder brother Sri Sanatan, Sri Rupa and his younger brother Sri Vallabha followed the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Dev. His heart was absorbed in going from Nilachal to Sri Vrindavan. When will that Sri Rupa Prabhu grace me with the dust of his holy lotus feet?
We just started reading this composition before the class. That's okay.
Which number are you?
We just finished
3.
number 2.
Okay. Are you going to say that? You want to say the Sanskrit?
I have them, yeah.
Okay.
Brindaranyat prayagi hari rasanatanoy nama sankirtanaischa leveyo maravagri janagahanagatam premamattam janamscha bhaver swamadayatam hritniririvatam Krishna Chaitanya Chandram Sashi Rupa Karamam Nija Pararajasa Bhushitam Samvidhati. read number 3.
You read 3.
Sri Chaitanya Dev returned from Vrindavan to Prayag Dham and performed Nama Sankirtan surrounded by crowds of hundreds of thousands. Intoxicated with divine love, dancing, he melted the hearts of hundreds of faithful souls with the astonishing transcendental ecstasies. Sri Rupa, as though regaining his most precious treasure, thus found Sri Chaitanya Dev in the direct presence of the deity Sri Bindu Madhava. When will that Sri Rupa Prabhu grace me with the dust of his holy lotus feet?
Ekantam labda param bhuja nirhridaya preshta patro maharti danya dhukashru punpurnay dashadritatri nai puja masagauram svanta krishnam cha ganga dinamanatanaya sangame sanujjoja Sashi Rupa Karamam Nija Padarajasa Bhushitam Samvidhate.
At the sacred spot on the confluence of the Ganga and the Jamuna, Sri Rupa achieved intimate union with the lotus feet of the dearmost Lord of his life, the Lord who is Krishna within and Gaurai without. In grave humility, with drawn mouth and with tears of sorrow, he, along with his younger brother, worship Sri Gaurai Krishna in intense love. When will that Sri Rupa Prabhu grace me with the dust of his holy lotus feet?
Swasya prema sarupam primadaita vila sanurupaika rupam nure bhuluntitam jam sahaja samadura Shritam Sanjancha Drishva Devotita Turnam Stuti Bahumakam Ashlishya Ghadararanje Sashi Rupa Karamam Nijapara Rajasa Bhushitam Samvidhate. Sri Chaitanya Dev saw Sri Rupa and his younger brother rolling on the ground some distance away. Seeing his endeared one, his favorite, his divine love personified in natural beauty and charm, his exclusive alter ego in divine pastimes, the Lord swiftly approached Sri Rupa, profusely singing his praises, and embraced him in ecstasy. When will that Sri Rupa Prabhu grace me with the dust of his holy lotus feet? Kaivalya prema bhuma vakila rasa sudha sindhu sanchara daksham yadvapyenancha radapada bhajana sudham devayapaya yadyam Shaktim sanchaya gaura nija bhajana sura dhana daksham chakara Sashi Rupa Karamam nija padarajasa bhushitam samvidhate.
Sri Gaurai knew that as an eternal associate of the Lord, Sri Rupa was already proficient in wandering throughout the ambrosial ocean of all meadows, in the land of unalloyed love in Braya Rasa. None the less to expand his own pastimes, the Lord enabled him to drink the sweet ecstasy of servitude unto Sri Radha, and empowered him with the skill to distribute the nectar of his personal devotional service. When will that Srimad Rupa Prabhu grace me with the dust of his lotus feet?
Gora Deshachcha Vrinda Vipinaiha Pari Kramya Nilachalam Yom Dattva Kavyamritai Sver Braja Yuva Yugala Kridanartai Prakamam Ramananda Sarupari Viravi Kavibhis Tarpayamasa Gauram Sashi Rupa Karamam Nijapadarajasam Bhushitam Samvidhate.
When on the order of Sri Gauranga, Sri Rupa visited Sri Kamarchepa after completing the circumambulation of Sri Rajamandala. He highly gratified Sri Chaitanya Dev and the sagacious devotee assembly headed by Sri Swarup Damodar and Sri Ramananda Roy by his ambrosial poetry on the pastimes of the divine couple of Raja. When will that Srimad Rupa Prabhu grace me with the dust of his lotus feet?
Lila Sangopane Shri Bhagavati Havai Jangame Stavarepi Samudhe Sagra Jata Prabhu Virahahita Praya Jivendriyanam Jascha Sida Shrayanaik Kastalamira Ragugo Pala Jivari Vargi Sashi Rupa Kadamam Nijapada Rajasa Bhushitam Samvidhate.
When the manifest Leela of the Supreme Lord, Sri Chaitanya Dev, was withdrawn, all beings, including the immobile entities, were mortified, deeply afflicted in sorrow. Sri Rupa and his elder brother were the only shelters for intimate the votes of the Lord, headed by Raghunath, Rupa Bhakta, and Sri Jiva, who had almost lost their lives in the Lord's separation. When will that Srimad Rupa Prabhu grace me with the dust of his lotus feet?
Shri Murte Sarvite Prakatanamapi Talukta Tirtarikanam Shri Radha Krishna Param Bhuja Bhajanamayam Ragamargam Vishuddham Grante Dena Pradatam Nikilamiham Nijabhishta Devipsitancha Sashi Rupa Karamam Nijapadarajasa Bhushitam Samvidhate.
By writing many books, he gave the world one of the most cherished desires of his worshipful Lord Sri Chaitanya Dev, principally revealing the service of the deity, establishing the pure code of conduct in devotion, revealing the lost holy places, and revealing the path of spontaneous devotion, Bhagavan, transcendental loving service to Sri Radha Govinda. When will that Srimad Rupa Prabhu grace me with the dust of his holy lotus feet?
Lila Sangopakale Nirupadi Karuna Karina Swaminaham Jat Parabjir Pitajat Parabhajanamayam Gayayitva Kutugitam Yogya Yogyatam Bhava Mama Kalu Sakalam Dushta Budhera Grinam Sashi Rupa Karamam Nijapadarajasa Bhushitam Samvidhate.
Just prior to the withdrawal of his manifest Leela, my causelessly merciful divine master, Srila Saraswati Thakur, handed me over to the holy feet of that divine personality by having me sing a glorious prayer unto his lotus feet, Sri Rupa Manjari. Despite my loneliness, when will, disregarding all my various qualifications and disqualifications, Srimad Rupa Prabhu grace me with the dust of his holy lotus feet?
Joy.
I just wanted to make one observation that this last verse to me seems like a composition based on the last verse of the Govardhan Avas Prarthana Dashaka, where Bhaktivedanta Das Goswami has this verse, Nirupadi Karunena Shri Satchidandanina, that Gurudev mentioned, where he's saying, Satchidandan is unconditionally merciful, and he has offered me to you, Govardhan. So whether I am fit or unfit, you have to accept me, because Mahaprabhu offered me to you.
Wow.
So rather than thinking Mahaprabhu gave me a Govardhan Srila, Das Goswami is thinking Mahaprabhu gave me to Govardhan. So similarly, and that comes in as the 10th verse of his Dashakam about Govardhan. So here in the very last verse, Guru Maharaj uses the exact same word, Arpita. And he uses the same Nirupadi Karuna, the same construction as Das Goswami used, saying that Saraswati Thakur, he offered me to you. So, fit or unfit, I pray you accept me.
Okay. Have you said anything about Gaurai Das Pandit?
We just had the kirtan and we read this. We haven't said anything.
Okay. Well, I don't. Gaurai Das Pandit. He was worshipping the deities of, you can say, Gaur Nitai, Nitai Gauranga, in Kalna. And these are deities which is said to be worshipped during the time of Mahaprabhu. Generally we say that there are three principal deities that were worshipped in that time. One is the deity of Mahaprabhu, worshipped by Vishnu Priya, which is what's said to be called Vishnu Priya Bari in Navadip. The other is Gaur Gadadhar, worshipped by Dvijavaninath. We go to both of those places on our Navadip Dham Parikrama. The deity of Vishnu Priya on the second day, and the deity of Gaur Gadadhar in Kalna we go to on the fourth day of Parikrama. But there's also the deity, Gaur Gadadhar, which is in Champahati. We go there, that's of Dvijavaninath. And the deity of Gaurai Das Pandit in Kalna, Gaur Nityananda. That deity we don't go to on Parikrama. And Govinda Maharaj said, although it's not very far away, like one railway stop to get there, basically. He said, Govinda Maharaj said he never went there on his own. It was only one time when he had to do some legal business, some service in Kalna. He asked permission from Srila Sridhar Maharaj to go visit the deity of Nitai Gauranga there in Kalna. And Guru Maharaj gave his permission. Now, those deities of Gaurai Das Pandit, they were there during, what I can say of what I've heard during famous kirtan, which is organized during the time of Janavadidi and what is it? That Mahaprabhu, well, they have that festival. Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu were there dancing before the deities. And the deities came off the altar and were also dancing along with the devotees. Then, when it came time to go, then Gaur Nityananda Prabhu were going to leave, and Gauridas Pandit said, no, you can't leave. And then they went onto the altar, and they became the deities, and then the deities of Nitai Gaur, they were going to leave with the devotees, and then Gauridas Pandit said, no, my deities can't leave. So there was like this exchange going on between Gauridas Pandit and the deities of Gaur Nitai that he worshipped. And of course, Gauridas Pandit, his disciple was Hridaya Chaitanya, right? And Hridaya Chaitanya's disciple was Shyamananda, originally called Sukhi Krishnadas. But he became Shyamananda when graced by the mercy of, the Bengal which was looking of Srimati Radharani, who was it Vishaka Lalita? Lalita was looking for that bangle. And Gauridas Pandit found it. And then she changed his nature from, you can say he was previously, as worshipping Gaur Nitai, his spiritual master Hridaya Chaitanya, situated in Sakya Ras, but then Lalita told him to go in the water and bathe, and then he saw that his form changed to that of a woman, and then she took the bangle and put it on his head, and it created a special kind of tilak, you could say. And then he was given the name Shyamananda. He and Shyamananda and also Narottam Das Thakur and Srinivas Acharya, they were in the care of Jiva Goswami. Anyway, that story goes on, but Gauridas Pandit, can you say something more about that kirtan that was going on at the place of Gauridas Pandit?
Not really.
Okay, so, and what is the relationship with Janava? It was a festival, I understood, that later she organized a festival there, and was it Virachandra, or born of who was Nityananda's other wife, Vasudha. He was born of her, but really he was trained by Janava. Anyway, I haven't read so much from that. I believe it's in, I could be mistaken, but Narahari, explained by Narahari Sarkar. Is that right?
I don't remember offhand.
Okay. Anyway, the deities of Gaur Nitai, Nitai Gauranga. I say that because it was, I believe I went there. I didn't go to that place. I've never been to Kona to see the deities, but went to one place where they're worshipping Nitai Gaur, and in Vrindavan, it could have been Sahajias, but I said Gaur Nityananda, and he said, always say the name of Nityananda first. So anyway, that's what the person told me. Anyway, Nitai Gaur there in Kona. So today is Gauridas Pandit. Can you say, you can say something more about Gauridas Pandit?
Not so much. I mean, he was an early stalwart devotee of Mahaprabhu, whose worship of Mahaprabhu and attachment to Mahaprabhu was, we can say, one of the founding, the first manifestations of the worship of Mahaprabhu as the Lord himself, and stands as a great precedent and beautiful illustration of that. And now I'm sure we'll be delighted to see so many temples of Gaurai Nitai as he started to worship, now found all over the world.
Yeah. Famous also, of course we know Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he established Gaurai Nitai in many temples, particularly in Raman Reti and the temple of Raman Reti, the temple of Krishna Balaram. And in doing so, they have on a separate altar, they have Gaurai Nitai and Swami Maharaj Prabhupada. He said that temple of Krishna Balaram was established especially showing that Gaurai Nitai is non-different from Krishna Balaram, established in that way. But we also see in Mayapur, there's a famous temple of Mukti Sharanga Goswami Maharaj, and his principal worship was of Gaurai Nitai, and that's also there on his altar. Temple that Guru Maharaj actually established the boundaries for that building. He wanted to build a small temple. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj told him, no, that you're a stalwart, prominent devotee of Srila Saraswati Thakur, and you have to have a big temple. And Guru Maharaj indicated what would be the boundaries of the walls for the temple. Anyway.
Maharaj, is there any story behind Srila Prabhupada and why he established Gaurai Nitai? Do you know anything about that?
Well, Srila Sridhar Maharaj has said that Prabhupada was especially, dedicated to the service of Nityananda Prabhu, that it is said that Prabhupada's family, the deity worship, principal deity for some time was Nityananda Prabhu. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj indicated that was Prabhupada's inclination was to, and that would seem logical because when Srila Sridhar Maharaj also said that Prabhupada wasn't an ordinary person, that he was Shaktivesh avatar, then Srila Govinda Maharaj said of who? And then Srila Sridhar Maharaj said of Nityananda Prabhu. So would seem natural, the worship of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Gaurai Nitai. And I remember one time, I was a young sannyasi, and many of the devotees were worshiping different deities. And some were worshiping, Nishringadev and this and that, sannyasis. And then I asked Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami, well, should I worship a deity? And Srila Prabhupada said, no, you're a sannyasi. You don't need to worship a deity. But he said, but if you like, you can take with you a picture of Nityananda Prabhu or Pancha Tattva, and you can offer some incense to them. And he told me. as a deity. Come to the lotus feet of Srila Sridhar Maharaj and to his also Srila Sridhar Maharaj has relationship with Nityananda Prabhu in the sense of he was receiving some inspiration from Nityananda Prabhu when he went to Ekachakra, and Nityananda Prabhu told him that you already have so much of why you're asking for my mercy, you have so much of my mercy, but you have to distribute that. And then Guru Maharaj began to go towards the middle path of accepting disciples and giving out mercy. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj in his prayers to Sri Nityananda Prabhu says that without the worship of Nityananda Prabhu, the worship of Mahaprabhu will be a distant dream. So consider like that. So anyway, maybe I'll...
Something about Rupa Goswami?
Srila Rupa Goswami. Well, when Mahaprabhu decided he would go to Vrindavan, first time he attempted, he decided he would go through Bengal. And there's a beautiful description in the Chaitanya Charitamrita about how Mahaprabhu went through Orissa and, it was even charmed. One Muslim governor in Orissa was known as a drunkard, and that person became infatuated with Mahaprabhu, saw him as the Supreme Lord, helped him to get past the pirates which were in the Rupnarayan River, I guess it is, and they arrived into Bengal and then came to first to Panihati, and then that wasn't the first place, but that we'll say arrived at Panihati, then arrived at the house of Vijayavachaspati, and then to where our mud is in Navadip, and then Mahaprabhu continued, and he arrived at and by this time many devotees were following Mahaprabhu. Millions of devotees were following Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu then arrived at Ramakeli, where Rupa and Sanatan, they were staying. Now Mahaprabhu said that he was going through Bengal because he wanted to see Janani and Janavi, that he wanted to take he'd gone to Jagannath Puri by the petition of his mother, Sachi Mata. And now he was going to Vrindavan, so he was going to see her, and we can say, okay, he's to a certain extent, telling her that he's going to Vrindavan, and then also he said Janani and Janavi to go bathe in the Ganga. But really we see that the principal purpose of his trip was to go see Rupa and Sanatan in Ramakeli. And there they were in the service of the Muslim king, the Nawab Hussain Shah, and they actually, for Mahaprabhu to go there, it was very intrepid, because it's like the Muslim seat, and they always were. They're always fearful that somebody would unite the Hindus. Mm-hmm. And then Mahaprabhu was coming there with many persons. And even the Muslim king asked one of his, forget his name, the first person he asked, who was, knew of Mahaprabhu's divinity. He asked him, who is this person who has come here and was surrounded by so many people? And that person didn't want to, one of his advisors, Hindu advisors, didn't want to draw any attention to Mahaprabhu. And he said, oh, he is like some local mystic. You don't have to pay any attention to him. And the Muslim king said, how you can say that? He said, I'm the king, and I employ many people, but if I didn't pay them, they would all leave. But he's not paying them anything, and they're all with him, and you're telling me he's of negligible importance? Then he asked Srila Rupa Goswami about Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu established how the king could see Mahaprabhu's divinity himself. It said that the king is a representative, we can say, of the Lord on this earth. Even he is a Muslim, but still, Rupa Goswami told him, look within yourself, and do tell me who is Mahaprabhu? And he says, I see that he is Ishwar himself, he is the Lord himself. And then Mahaprabhu, the two brothers, Rupa and Sanatan, came to Mahaprabhu with straw in their mouth, and they begged Mahaprabhu for his mercy, and Mahaprabhu gave them some advice which was very important. He said that when a woman has her family and her husband, but in addition to that, she has a paramour, a lover, then she serves her family and her husband better, so as not, obviously not to attract any attention, and that she has a paramour, a lover, but at the same time she does so not with a consciousness of, taking care of her husband and family, but of the consciousness that she's always doing everything as an act of love and sacrifice towards her lover. And Mahaprabhu gave a very radical example to Rupa and Sanatan, that you're in the service of the king and this and that, but at the same time, your consciousness is always on that of the Supreme Lord, and Krishna, Radha Krishna, and of course Mahaprabhu himself. But he's saying that your consciousness in that way, whatever you're doing, is comparable to a paramour, because you're doing your apparently mundane duties, but you're doing them with a consciousness of that love for the most worshipable Lord. Then Rupa Goswami was able to leave that. At first were both of them staying back, and they were hearing from Brahmins who were reciting verses. I think it was, Rupa Goswami, he was able to leave and go to the service. What Rupa Goswami sent two servants to Jagannath Puri, and he told them, Mahaprabhu told him before he left that I don't remember the exact how this actually happened. Here it is, that Sanatana Goswami, when Mahaprabhu was leaving, he told him that, this is not the way to travel to Vrindavan. There's so many persons following you, and it's not the way to go. Vrindavan is a solitary place. So Mahaprabhu is really to the point. He also told him, the Muslim king bears you no ill will, but he's not to be trusted. And he's surrounded by so many persons who are envious, and they will advise him against you. So but he was worried. Mahaprabhu himself wasn't worried, but then he told him it's not the way to travel to Vrindavan. So when Mahaprabhu went to Kanai Nantashala, then that place of the pastimes of Krishna, you know, something like Haritala, like some place where they do kirtana worship, like that. Anyway, then Mahaprabhu, remembering what Sanatan said, turned back, and he went first to Shantipur and then back to Vrindavan, and back to Jagannath Puri. And Rupa Goswami sent servants to Jagannath Puri, and he told them when Mahaprabhu indicated that he will go to Vrindavan a second time, or try to go to Vrindavan a second time. And then he told Rupa Sanatan that, told to them that, no, actually he told that to Raghunath Das Goswami, when I will go, then you will come and then you will find the means of escape. But anyway, Rupa Goswami sent servants there, and they were to inform him of Mahaprabhu's movements. Then Mahaprabhu, when he would leave to Vrindavan, the servants would go back and tell him that Mahaprabhu is now going to Vrindavan. So Rupa Goswami, he left the service of the Muslims without difficulty, but Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami established money with a local grocer, because Sanatana Goswami was the principal advisor to the king. He's the elder brother. Then, when Mahaprabhu went to towards Vrindavan, then Rupa Goswami, as it said in these prayers, Rupa Goswami went to Prayag. And Mahaprabhu went to Vrindavan and came back from Vrindavan. And there in Prayag, he met with Rupa and Anupama. They were in Prayag. And for, I think it's 10 days, so Mahaprabhu instructed Srila Rupa Goswami, and then he sent him on to Vrindavan. And in Kashi, or Varanasi, Banaras, then Mahaprabhu met with Sanatana Goswami, and he sent him to Vrindavan. And then there's something where but when Sanatana Goswami was going to Vrindavan, Rupa Goswami was coming back from Vrindavan with Anupama, because he wanted to go see Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. And they didn't meet, because Sanatana Goswami was told by Mahaprabhu that he no longer had to fear. Before he was fearing the vigilance of the Muslim king, but Mahaprabhu told him he could go by the main road, that there was no longer any fear. And Rupa Goswami came back from Vrindavan by the path of the Ganga, so they went on two different paths. They didn't meet each other. Then Rupa Goswami, he went through Bengal, and Nupama passed away. Rupa Goswami went with Mahaprabhu, and there Mahaprabhu is meeting with Rupa Goswami. I mean, all this, I'm kind of rambling on, but I'm just saying.
Fantastic, Maharaj.
And on the way, he passed through one town in Orissa. Rupa Goswami was thinking of writing, wanted to write the pastimes of Mahaprabhu, and he was writing in one volume, was going to write in one work, Mahaprabhu's Leela in Vrindavan and Dwarka and Mathura. But when he went through Orissa, he passed through, Satyabhamapur, I think it's called. And when Satyabhama appeared to Rupa Goswami, and she said, write a drama about me, and by my blessings, it will be very beautiful. So then Rupa Goswami began to think that now I shall, in order to do so, I will have to divide the work into two parts, one about Vrindavan and one about Dwarka. And he thought about that. And when he got to Jagannath Puri, then Mahaprabhu also one time just told Rupa Goswami, confirmed to him, he said, Krishna does not take one step out of Vrindavan. So then Rupa Goswami saw that as a confirmation what was told him by Satyabhama, that there should be two works. And he divided them into what later became Vidagdha Madhava and Lalita Madhava. And while Rupa Goswami was there in Jagannath Puri, then Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami, Mahaprabhu went during the Ratha Yatra, used to recite one verse that very few persons could understand. And that verse was from a female point of view about, I am the same person and he is the same lover, but I wish to be with him underneath where our original pastimes were occurring, our loving pastimes underneath the Revati tree. Do you know that verse? Okay. And this is while the Jagannath Ratha Yatra is going on and everyone's dancing, and Mahaprabhu is saying this verse. And no one can understand. And it's from a female point of view, and nobody can understand why Mahaprabhu is singing this verse. But Rupa Goswami composed a verse that explains that about, which is actually the whole mood of Ratha Yatra, of Radharani wanting to take Krishna back to Vrindavan. Because their mudas are meeting at Kurukshetra, and then there's only a mood of great separation, although they're so close together. And Radharani wants to take Krishna back to Vrindavan. Because actually Jagannath Puri temple, although Mahaprabhu is meditating on Jagannath as Krishna, actually the temple of Jagannath Puri represents Dwarka. And Subhadra was never in Vrindavan. So, anyway, what is that verse? Do you know that verse that is written by?
It starts Priya Soyam, but I haven't.
And it's saying, what is it? How I'm the same Radha, and he is the same Krishna, but still I long to go back to the place in Vrindavan where our loving pastimes were occurring, with Krishna with his flute playing on the 5th note. And there's a, very beautiful verse. And Mahaprabhu, he wrote that on a palm leaf, stuck it in the roof of where he was staying, a hut. He was staying, I believe, with Haridas Thakur in Siddhabakul, and he left that verse on a hut, and Mahaprabhu came there and saw that verse, and he read it, and Mahaprabhu was in ecstasy, and then he asked Swarup Damodar, how could Rupa Goswami know my heart? And Swarup Damodar said, I can see that you have previously given him all your mercy, otherwise this would be not be possible. And Mahaprabhu confirmed, yes, this is true, that when I saw him in Prayag, this is what happened. And then Rupa Goswami came back, and Mahaprabhu was in so much deep love that he slapped Rupa Goswami and he talked to him. I believe Bengali, which is normally used for a servant or a child, tui, right? Tui form, telling him, how expressing, so much love for Rupa Goswami. And then Mahaprabhu wanted that Rupa Goswami, Mahaprabhu had given him all his mercy, but he wanted that Rupa Goswami would get the blessings of all the Vaishnavas. And there's a very famous, what Govinda Maharaj calls the examination hall of Srila Rupa Goswami. And Mahaprabhu unites all the devotees and comes with his devotees, and Ramananda Roy, who's also, normally Mahaprabhu's, anybody writes some literature for Mahaprabhu, it would be examined by Swarup Damodar, and before it could be presented to Mahaprabhu. But in this case, something different, because Ramananda Roy is taking the position of asking all these questions to Rupa Goswami. Ramananda Roy, he himself has written what's called Natak drama, dancing drama, we could say. Like the Natak is a dance, but it's also drama. And he had written, what is it, Jagannath Vallabha Natika, is that it? Or yeah. This is Jagannath Vallabha Natika. He has written that. And then he's asking Rupa Goswami, many questions about, which later became substantial verses of Vidagdha Madhava and Lalita Madhava. Vidagdha Madhava about Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, and Lalita Madhava about Krishna's pastimes in Dwarka. But still not written yet, but he's asking him, what are you writing? And Rupa Goswami's replying, and then Ramananda Roy says, well, please tell us. He goes through all the aspects of a drama and asking, he says, what is the prayer, Mangalacharan, what is the prayer to the Ishtadeva? And then Rupa Goswami hesitates and he doesn't want to say anything, and Mahaprabhu says, why are you hesitating, and everything. And then Rupa Goswami says, a prayer, the Ishtadeva is a prayer about Mahaprabhu. And like that. In the first, also in the second drama, he's asking him, how do the actors assemble on the stage? And I forget the terminology, Udgatika or something, two different forms. One, I think in Lalita Madhava, that it's the assembly is called according to the auspicious time has arrived, according to a time has arrived or something, and it's springtime, and it is the it is a time for Radha and Krishna's divine Leela, and then it goes on, and very beautiful. How please describe, how they meet, and then it's, there's all these nice descriptions. I don't remember exactly which is on each drama, but one is Purva Rag, that, at first we met, but there was no need for a messenger, that simply by, the arrows of Cupid, that became our way of meeting or something. I can't, I'm very unqualified to really state what is the poetry of Srila Rupa Goswami, but, the devotees, Ramananda Roy is asking questions, and Rupa Goswami is answering the questions, And Brahmananda Roy said, this is not poetry, that this is a continuous shower of nectar. And what is that verse? Is it Rupa Goswami's verse where it says, what is the use of a bowman's arrow or a poet's poetry if it merely penetrates the heart but does not cause the head to spin like that? So that's the real definition of Rupa Goswami's poetry.
Mind-blowing.
Yeah, and you know, all the, you know, so this examination hall is showing the eminent qualifications of Rupa Goswami. Everyone is amazed by Rupa Goswami's qualifications, his poetry and everything. And they can say that actually the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the central focus of the Chaitanya Charitamrita is to establish Srila Rupa Goswami, to establish him as the foremost personality of our sampradaya. And that is done in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And that examination hall is a very, you know, very important chapter in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. What is it? Is it the first or second chapter of the Madhya Lila?
Where's it located, Maharaj? Prayag?
Huh?
Where's that hall located?
No, it's not a physical hall. It's
no,
it's in Jagannath Puri.
It'll happen in Puri.
It's when Rupa Goswami went. Anupam has died and passed away in Bengal, and then Rupa Goswami goes to Jagannath Puri. I don't know the exact reason why Rupa Goswami, when Sanatana Goswami was going there to Vrindavan, Rupa Goswami was leaving Vrindavan to meet with Mahaprabhu, right? He was going to Jagannath Puri. They didn't meet, but then later Rupa Goswami joined Sanatana Goswami in Vrindavan as per Mahaprabhu's instructions. But Rupa Goswami was there in Jagannath Puri for I think it's like almost a year, 10 months or something like that. He was with Mahaprabhu. Is that right? Is that Rupa Goswami's there alone? And anyway, this, from what I've heard, what I've heard Guru Maharaj and Govinda Maharaj, that really the purpose of the Chaitanya Charitamrita really is to establish Srila Rupa Goswami as the leader of our sampradaya. And when Guru Maharaj, on the occasion of Srila prior actually to somewhat little prior to Srila Saraswati Thakur's leaving this world, he called for Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj had been doing guard duty, like he would stay up during the night and keep vigilance, and then he would take rest. Where'd you get that?
Uh-oh.
And then he would keep vigilance. Guru Maharaj. And he took rest about 4 in the morning, but suddenly early in the morning, Srila Saraswati Thakur called him, and he came into the presence of Srila Saraswati Thakur, and she was asked to sing Shri Rupa Manjari Para. And Guru Maharaj hesitatingly began to sing, and seeing his hesitation, Saraswati Thakur's main servant, Kunja Babu, later became Bhakti Vilas Tirtha Maharaj. Seeing Guru Maharaj's hesitation, he asked another person who was more known as a singer, that was Shri Shripad, who later became Bhakti Puri Maharaj. What's his Puri Maharaj?
Bhakti Pramod.
Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj. In that time he was, do you remember?
Pranavananda Brahmachari.
Pranavananda Brahmachari. He started to sing. He was more, Srila Govinda Maharaj said, Guru Maharaj was known more, not as a singer, but as a dancer. Anyway, he was hesitating, and then Srila Saraswati Thakur stopped the singing of Puri Maharaj, later Spirit Puri Maharaj, and said, I'm not interested in hearing the melody. Srila Sridhar Maharaj will sing, and then Guru Maharaj began to sing again. And it said that everyone who was present saw that as what has been described as a power transfer. Do you know the Bengali term? I don't know. But power transfer from that Srila Saraswati Thakur was establishing Srila Sridhar Maharaj as the, you could say, the protector of the Rupa Nuga Sampradaya, the Rupa Nuga line. And the disciples of Srila Saraswati Thakur present, many of them saw it in that way. And after the disappearance of Saraswati Thakur, then prominent persons like Bhakti Sharanga Goswami, who became Bhakti Sharanga Goswami, he went to Guru Maharaj for sannyas. But anyway, that was seen as a very prominent, that Srila Saraswati Thakur was giving Srila Sridhar Maharaj to be the protector of that, of our sampradaya, the Rupa Nuga Sampradaya. And it's seen as a very important event. And Srila Guru Maharaj, only in our mutt, really, we can say that only Srila Sridhar Maharaj would chant Shri Rupa Manjari Pada. And Govinda Maharaj, after Guru Maharaj's disappearance, he could maybe chant that on Guru what day would it be? Would it be this day? Okay.
I heard it on Guru Maharaj's, I think it was Appearance Day in Italy. Were you there, Maharaj? I think so.
Gurudev sang it on many days. And Gurudev sang it so many times on the order of Guru Maharaj.
Okay.
And no one else but Gurudev.
So this is, and you could say, Srila Guru Maharaj was seen in that way. And then, I mean, there was other indications to us that Govinda Maharaj was given that responsibility. That is, at one time Govinda Maharaj, he had built a place in Vrindavan, Govinda Maharaj. He had purchased some land on the very outskirts, on the Parikrama Marg, on the outskirts of Vrindavan. But they built some boundary wall, and that boundary wall, the wind blew it over, and it just wasn't happening. And then Govinda Maharaj was in Navadvip, and the phone was dead, which was quite common occurrence, but not just dead for a day, dead for months. And occasionally Govinda Maharaj would lift up the dead phone and hear if there was any tone. But always there wasn't. But one day he lifted up the receiver, it never rang or anything, but there on the other end of the line was what is it? Krishna, what is his name? Krishna Vallabha. Krishna Vallabha in Vrindavan. And he was saying that this land, which is directly adjacent to Jiva Goswami's Radha Damodar, where the Samadhi and the Bhajan Kutir of Rupa Goswami are directly touching that. That land had been in litigation for a long time, but now it was cleared, and they wanted, Krishna Vallabha and others of Vrindavan wanted that property to go to the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mutt, and in particular to Srila Govinda Maharaj. So he was calling to Govinda Maharaj, and the phone was not working, but when Govinda Maharaj picked it up without it ringing, there on the end of the other end of the phone was Krishna Vallabha in Vrindavan telling him about this property that had now become available, and he wanted Govinda Maharaj to have that property, and he said Govinda Maharaj had to act because there were others who were trying to get that property, and they were offering up to 5 and 10 times more of the value for the property, and Govinda Maharaj, but they wanted Govinda Maharaj to have it, and Govinda Maharaj said, well, all right, but right now I cannot go. And Krishna Vallabha says, you do not have to come personally, just send your representative. And then Govinda Maharaj said, but I don't have money right now to pay for that. And Krishna Vallabha said, it's not necessary. I will arrange that, and later we will settle between us. So just send somebody. And then he sent, what is his name? Purnananda to sign for the property. And that property, which is said to be, the property touching, Rupa Goswami's property in of Radha Damodar, that property came to the hands of Govinda Maharaj. Anyway, then. So what can I say? I mean, it came through a dead phone. And not only was the phone dead before, it was dead for months afterwards also. It was only that one time when Govinda Maharaj lifted the receiver that there happened, just divine miracle, that in that moment, Krishna Vallabha was on the other end of the line. How can that happen? Inconceivable. It's not possible. So that's how the property came. And then Govinda Maharaj gave some mercy to me. Came one day, and he had that property, and he wanted to build a residence first for the devotees. They had some deities there. There were some old deities that they got they were called Radha Rasa Bihari. They had those deities that were worshipped there came. And that's right, that's Radha Rasa Bihari. And then Govinda Maharaj, I came there and I was shocked. Govinda Maharaj said, now Janardan Maharaj has come, and he will name this building that we're about to build here for the residence hall. And then I just said, well, Srila Govinda Maharaj, Srila Guru Maharaj has written, can't even remember what I said, but I said, Guru Maharaj has written the line, that Govinda Maharaj wrote in Guru Maharaj's, Arti, Shri Rupa Saraswati Dar. That's what I said. Shri Rupa Saraswati Dar. And then Govinda Maharaj said, yes, this will be the name. Shri Rupa Saraswati Sridhar Seva Kunj. And I was very foolish. I said, but I didn't say Shri Rupa Saraswati Sridhar. I said Shri Rupa Saraswati Dar. And then Govinda Maharaj, that's just dumb. Then Govinda Maharaj said, yes, that's the name. Shri Rupa Saraswati Sridhar Seva Kunj. I said the line, Shri Rupa Saraswati Dar, that Govinda Maharaj took it, Shri Rupa Saraswati Sridhar Seva Kunj, and he named the building. So somehow or other, indirectly through my ignorance, Govinda Maharaj established that name. But when I walked in, I was shocked. He said, now Janardan Maharaj come, he will give us the name. And then after I said that, he said, I told you he would give us the name. But just quoted Govinda Maharaj's own composition. So, Sri Rupa Saraswati Dar, that is Guru Maharaj. Sri Rupa Saraswati Dar. He gives us, through the mercy of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the Rupa Nuga, the mercy of the Rupa Nuga Sampradaya. So today, Rupa Goswami's Divine Disappearance Day. And, you know, anyway, our time has run out.
Giant.
All time run out. So now we can sing Hari Harai and finish here. Anyway, it's this kind of rambling presentation about
Fantastic, Maharaj. That you connected that Vrindavan transfer to the transfer between Saraswati Thakur and Srila Sridhar Maharaj in the song. It's quite amazing.
Where was Srila Saraswati Thakur when he left this world? Kolkata. Yeah, he was in Kolkata. Later they brought him back. They brought him for a samadhi to Mayapur. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Janavaya Nama
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Janavaya Nama
Janavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama
Janavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama
Gopam Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan
Gopala Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan
Giridhari Gopinatha Maranamo
Giridhari Gopinatha Maranamo
Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra
Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra
Karanara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Karanara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhakta Raghunath
Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhakta Raghunath
Shri Jiva Gopala Bhakta Dasa Raghunath
Jiva Gopala Bhakta Dasa Raghunath
Hey Jai Gosai Kori Charana Bhajan
Hey Jai Gosai Kori Charana Bhajan
Jao Ite Vignana Shabishta Puran
Jao Ite Vignana Shabishta Puran
Hey Jai Gosai Jar Mui Taradas
Jai Gosai Jar Mui Taradas
Kasabar Bhara Renu Mora Panchagram
Samsara Parorenu Mora Panchagram
Hare Janana Sevi Bhakta Sanibhar
Sadhya Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibhar
Janame Janame More Abhilash
Janame More Abhilash
Hey Jai Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabhas
Hey Jai Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabhas
Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Korila Prakash
Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Korila Prakash
Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Pade Majayaman.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majayaman.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyan.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyan.
Harinam Sankirtana Koe Naradamuna.
Shri Ram Sankirtan Kohe Narotamara.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyan.
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyan.
Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Naradamuna.
Shri Ram Sankirtan Kohe Narotamara.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Gaura Hari Bol.
Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Gauranga Radha Giridhari Ki
Jai.
Jai Om Vishnupad Anamansa Paravajaka Charyashta Tara Sada Shishi Mad Srila Bhakti Nirmalacharya Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramansa Paravajaka Charyashta Tara Sada Shishi Mad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramansa Paravajaka Charyashta Tara Sada Shishi Mad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai.
Jai.
Rupanuga Guru Sampradaya Ki Jai. Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai.
Jai.
Premsigo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Shri Gaurabhakta Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai.
Vishvavarenya Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki
Jai.
Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai.
Jai.
London Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopi Govardhan Sham Kuna Radha Kunda Kulindi Yamuna Jul Ki Jai.
Jai.
Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki
Jai.
Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki
Jai.
Shri Rupa Goswami Gauridas Pandit Tirobab Mahotsav Ki Jai.
Jai.
Divine Disappearance of Srila Rupa Goswami Ki
Jai.
Shri Bhakti Kamal Tyagi Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Bhakti Vigraha Nyasi Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Gaur Premanande.
Hare Hare Bol. Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj Ki Jai.
Shri Vishaka Devi Ki Jai.
Jai.
Breakfast Ki Jai.